Hi, welcome to this session. We will do some adaptive yoga using a chair and a wall. If you have props available like blocks, strap, and a towel, okay, these are some of the things we incorporated in this session here. So move upon the edge of your seat onto the chair where the sit bones are almost maybe 2 inches from the actual edge, physical edge of the chair seat. Bring the knees right in line over the ankles. And the knees and the ankles are hips distance apart. And allow yourself to sit tall. Inhale, feel both sides of the neck lengthen. And exhale, release. Let the collarbones go wide. Inhale. Through the mouth, exhale. Soften. Any grip you might have in the jaw and the face muscles. Maybe there's a grip in the abdomen. Allow that to release. Just give yourself a moment to breathe and turn inward with your thoughts and your sensations, the feelings of the sensations within. We'll start off with a few little pelvic tilts and focus on the lower half of the abdomen. As you exhale, feel the navel move towards the pubis. And as you inhale, you tilt the pelvis forward. Very subtle, like you're rocking onto the sits bones. So you can really feel the sits bones in this movement. You might feel a little bit more grounded on the exhale. And on the inhale, you're moving more towards like the shelf of the thigh bone. But you might find where you're really the center part of the seat. Where's the plumb line? So it's discovery, but also waking up the spine. And let's start bringing the arm bones into the movement. Kind of drawing the chin towards the chest, making the spine tag along with the pelvic movements. Inhale and then exhale. Inhale and then exhale. Bring yourself back to neutral. And then begin rolling the hip bones in little circles. And you might really get to notice where there's an imbalance. Maybe one side of your hips has a greater sensation. Maybe it's smooth. And then when you get to the other side, it's like jagged and you feel like knotted up tendons. Just continue the breath in those pelvic circles. And you could even go wider if you feel more comfortable there. If not, don't go. Always listen to your body and know where the edge is in your movement, especially when you come to subtle body work. It's where time becomes your friend, right? Not just holding in a pose, but also time in subtle movement. And there's a reverse direction. very exploratory, giving yourself some feedback, and it might just all of a sudden be pain, and that could be normal. But somehow underneath the problem child, right, the loud one, is usually the quiet, more informative message that correlates or coexists. If you can just be there long enough, you might be able to get different feedback, more informative, and bring yourself back to center. And do give yourself a few moments to just sit here and digest subtle movements. Okay. If you have a strap, you can use a belt or a strap, or use a block and bring the block way up into your thighs. I like to, you can go this way, but to me, this one works better. Strap underneath. And if you don't have a strap, you can use a balloon just to squeeze, or a string, a belt, actual physical belt you use to hold up your pants. It doesn't have to be too snug, but snug enough. Bring the hands onto the knees. So we're going to do some adduction, abduction work. So this is good for the stability into the pelvic area. Flexibility is great, but stability is also something that we all can use a little more of. So inhale, pull the belt apart, and then exhale, release to neutral. Do that several times. Inhale, pull apart, and exhale, release. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and release. Smooth your breath. Inhale, and exhale. A couple more times. You can feel like the zippered line of core activation when you pull the legs apart. Inhale. Feel it come up the back of the spine through the crown. And then exhale, release. And neutral, inhale, relax. And exhale, squeeze the block together. Inhale. And exhale, squeeze. So we're just working the adduction of the legs, squeezing the block. We do this quite often in yoga. Sometimes we use blocks for chair pose. So here we are in a chair, adducting. Inhale, release. Exhale. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale. And again, exhale, squeeze. And inhale, release. And then exhale. This time we're going to go both ways. Inhale, pull the strap apart. Exhale, squeeze it in together. Inhale and squeeze. In, squeeze. Inhale, squeeze the block. And again, inhale. And exhale. A couple more times. Inhale. and go ahead and release. So you remove the strap and the block, bring it off to the side. So we're going to do some wall work. We'll take a block and bring it near the wall. Oh, so bring the block, so we stand onto the wall, bring your forearm onto the wall. So you want your hips balanced, and in line with the outside foot, that's where we want to step forward, up on the block. And so we have the forearm here on the wall, and this thigh is going to hug in. Okay, so it's active. And we want to let the right leg just dangle down so that there's like decompressing in that right hip, right femur bone just kind of drops down. We don't want to do this. Just kind of really activate just the left leg. You're going to feel work on the left leg. And the right, we're not controlling the foot, swinging it back and forth as active control. I want to really feel that it's almost swaying on its own. Do this maybe 10, 15 times. Slight bend in the standing leg. Careful of not locking out the left knee. This should feel good, especially on the standing leg. Now let's kind of bring circles. So you're going to maneuver it out wide and just kind of let it return on its own. Maybe forward and swinging around. Good. And then change direction. So now we're coming back and around. Still not collapsing the left hip out. Now kind of let it find its center and then just kind of wiggle. Wiggle the right foot, the right leg, the thigh. So it's not just the foot that's wiggling, more of the upper thigh. So you might even feel the flesh kind of wiggling around, the right glutes wiggling around. Good. And then step off your block. And this time, I'm going to do it facing the side angle. So when I bring the forearm to the wall, have my hips in line, and then step forward onto the block. So the forearm can give me stability, but also allow the perpendicular alignment. And the right hand can come straight on the hip. Slide bend in the right knee. And see if you can keep the torso parallel without swaying back. I'm sure it's very difficult, but importantly, try to let the leg recoil back on its own. So maybe you kick it forward and it swings back. Try to be natural. Notice if you're bending the standing leg, try to keep it pegged to the ground. It's easier said than done, no matter who you are. It's all about becoming mindful of your movements. You know, there's no perfect in all of this. let's create some little circles, right? We go forward with activation and try to let it round on its own. Letting momentum and swing do its job. So the standing leg is doing all the work, right? It's all good. Switch sides, switch directions. Now let's go ahead and kind of wiggle the upper thigh. The feet might start it off, but see if you can really loosen the muscles in the abduction adductors. Maybe the left glute. Just kind of on right to left. And then slowly step off the block. Good. Bring your feet hips distance apart, about 4 or 5 inches away from the wall. It all depends upon how much flesh you have in the back. Something comfortable. And then slowly draw the knees bent. Hands on your hips and feel the elbows onto the wall. Give you some stability. And keeping this, you can do this with a block behind you as well, but let's do it without right now. Keep the hip bones pressed back as you straighten the legs. And you might feel this pelvic tilt where the pit of the belly pulls in, the lower back kind of hugs in more to the wall. All right. Lift all 10 toes, slight bend in the knees. Good. Now, take your hands, the palms out wide, the arm bones out wide, and feel the shoulder points, right, become flat onto the wall. Good. Inhale, circle sweep. You may find that your shoulders don't allow you to go all the way up. That's okay. It could be right here. Then exhale, drag the fingertips down. Again, inhale. And then exhale. This usually feels really good. And feel the back skull lengthen upward, chin parallel to the earth, rooting down the 4 corners of your feet. Feel the inner arches of your feet lift up into the uppermost thighs. You can feel that into the internal abdomen. Exhale. Right, I always feel like there's an exchange going on in your body. As one thing lifts, something else descends. Inhale. And bend the elbows and bring them behind your skull. Interlace the hands. So you can feel the head being cradled into the hands and the shoulder heads hug back, the forearms and the shoulder arm bones. Good. Inhale, lengthen tall. Press into the hands and exhale, lateral bend. Keep the feet active. Keep the legs in place. Inhale back to center. Let's do the same side 3 times. Exhale. So if it's sticking, you can kind of move the fingers away from the wall and just let them glide. Especially if there's fresh paint on the wall, right? Inhale. And then let's move to the left. Exhale. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, lateral bend. Notice if you want to hike the right hip out, hug it into center line. Let the core abdomen work. Carry the pose. And then back to center. Good. And then release the hands back down. Bend your knees and rise up. Let's bring a chair. If you have a strap or a belt, We're gonna do the loop inside the chair bar. And this could be done on a regular folding chair. It doesn't have to be a backless chair. It's gonna create the loop. Okay. Now, so bring the feet out wide. So we're in like a malasana squat. Okay. And you can lower the arms over, give yourself a little stretch, head and the neck. Good. Bring the hands to the chair seat. And then open up the heart. And then back to center. Now, take the chair loop and bring it over the left thigh. The right arm internally rotates, comes behind you. Maybe it reaches the sacrum, maybe it comes across. Some people have access to put the hand on the thigh. And so once you reach this arm internally to grab the strap, okay, we're going to start to externally rotate, opening up this right shoulder. Left hand's going to come across the bar seat, or the back of this arm's going to come across to the back bar, okay? Elongate on the inhale, exhale, twist. So feel the heels hug in towards the chair center. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Option, left hand can come across the right thigh. And again, open up the left shoulder, open up the right. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Again, inhale, exhale, twist. Draw the chin towards the front shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, recoil. Good. You can bring the strap now to the opposite side. Let the flap move over to the right thigh. Internally rotate the left arm, bring it behind you, and let the right hand help you reach the strap. Now externally rotate that left arm bone back, down. Right hand comes across the seat bar and the back bar. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. So you're using the hands to guide you and to help, but feel it deep into the groin area of the twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. So you want to hug the ribs into the center line. Right bag of ribs are moving towards the chest. And maybe the right arm comes across. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. Again, lengthen, inhale. Exhale, twist. Bring the right shoulder, move the chin to the right shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. And release. Good. You can rise back up. We'll do this seated. Have a little hand towel or some kind of towel on the ground. And have blocks handy. So scoot up to the edge of the chair. You want to be supported, but also you don't want the chair seat to cut into your hamstrings. Good. So ground down into the feet. Really feel active here. Lengthen the right leg, okay? Onto the towel. Flex and point. Flex and point. You can do this lifted if you like. Make it a little more difficult. Or you can just let it slide and glide. You feel a bunch of pops and snaps with the ankles. Point, flex, point. A few more times. Good. Now let's draw little circles with the ankles. Yeah, moving clockwise. And then reverse directions. Good. Now, take your toes and grab the towel and toss. Draw back in, grab, squinch, and release. Squinch it up, release. So this is functional yoga here, right? Learn how to clean the floor with a dish rag. Pick up the loose stray towel after we wash clothes. Now extend the left heel forward. Right foot becomes stabilizing. You can always bring the hands onto the chair seat here as well. Good. Point and flex. Point and flex. Getting some good ankle flexibility, some movement in the feet, with all the multiple bones in our feet. It's okay if it cramps up. Drink plenty of water. Now let's begin moving clockwise. Rotating the ankle. More rounds in this direction. Try to keep the toes active as well in this movement, in reverse direction. You may notice some movement seems seamless and the other times it becomes sticking. Just continue breathing. And then go ahead and draw the foot close halfway in. Crunch of the towel, release. You can grab it with your feet as if they're hands. Do this a few times. Toss it up. Right? Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Let's do Malasana squat. Bring the feet out onto the blocks here. And you can bring the arms out wide here. So just keeping the bind with the forearms and the inner thighs creates a nice little opening in both sides of the thighs. Feel the sit bones root down, lifting through the crown. Feel the external rotation of the thighs, right? Kind of creates a little space for the abdomen. If you want to find what's the right space to bring the elbows into the thighs, if this is accessible. Good. And then if happy baby is available, you can grab the hands or bring the hands onto the ankles and press, externally rotate the arms and squeeze the thighs inward. Create a broadening in the pelvis, the sacrum. You might be able to move now to where the feet's on the ground and the hands are on the blocks. Okay, so it's not like one's right or wrong, it's just kind of where your go-to range is and movement and flexibility. But we're trying to work on the stability here as well. So wherever you get, plane off and then create this bind. Good. Let's rise back up. Now let's inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Slowly decline down. There's your flexibility. Some people can reach the chair paw. Squeeze the triceps. Feel the biceps rotating inward. And it might be pretty nice to put the blocks, forehead on the blocks. So again, it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's the sensations of it. If you're feeling it in your lower back, just go ahead and plane off. And then gently rise back up. Begin by moving the right leg open the gate. Hug the left leg inward and feel this internal rotation of the right thigh. This is a warrior two pose, chair adaptation. Hands shoulder height, good. Reverse your warrior. You want to reach the left hand down. Feel that external rotation of the left arm. Good. And then back here, left arm comes up. Warrior two. Extended side angle. And if you want to bring the left arm over, you can. And then bring the left hand down. Right arm up. Good. And back into warrior two. And shift the right thigh onto the chair and let the left thigh dangle down. So depending upon your flexibility and stance here and actual height of the thigh, you may use a block. We're going to go for a little stretch here. Crescent lunge, low lunge. So find the right positioning for the block, maybe a book or something, blanket even. And I have this whole left leg over the chair to the left. So externally rotate the right thigh. Try to stack the knee over the ankle. Active back of thigh. And feel the anchor bone tuck down or anchor down. Right, the left quads are active. And bring the arms up to the sky, like you're holding a block here, active. Inner arms down, outer arms, pinky side up. And then slowly hinge forward. So you feel it active. Good. If you want to straighten the left leg, you can, right? Just work within whatever range you have, and it might be for a few moments. Good. You can even lift up if it's available. And then find your active but accessible range, a modification. And then bring the left hand to the right thigh, right hand to the sacrum. So here's a crescent lunge twist. Feel that right shoulder open. And breathe. Now, how it might look when you bring the arm across the knee and the right hand comes up, deeper twist. Back leg option, lift. Good. And then sway the knees around. So this is kind of like a little 90-90 transition. Just a block back. And shift the left thigh onto the chair seat. Right leg back. So go ahead and hug this right thigh inward. Externally rotate the left thigh. Allow the accessibility to hinge forward with the torso. Hands rise up. See if you can anchor that tailbone straight down as the back ribs lift up. Yeah, crown lifts. Soften the front ribs. Make sure it's not bowing outward. And then hinge forward. And if it's available, you can, do the same activation as the other side. This is work. Just because you're on the chair doesn't make it easy. Good. And lift back up. Bring the right hand to the left thigh, left hand to the sacrum, and twist. Your version of twist, play around with what's available. Maybe the hand grabs the chair seat, the chair bar for the back. Active back leg. And then move back to center. And then slowly, let's do a little 90-90. Okay? Let's see what a 90-90 looks like. So it's kind of a version of half pigeon. So then move the knife edge of the front foot and the toe mounts on the left. And we're going to rotate to center. And then bring the knife edge of the left foot and the toe mounts of the right. Bring the hands in the heart center. Move into prayer, like interlace the fingers. And then extend like you're stirring a big gumbo pot. Yeah, or jambalaya. And then hinge, stir the pot. So this feels good on the hips and the femur bones, and allow the feet to adjust and movement with the pelvis. So I find this to be nice and awesome on a chair. You can do this on the floor as well. And then back to center. And here. Good. All right. Forward fold using a chair. Just remove the strap off the chair. So there's more ways to use the chair than just sitting on it. This one's great for lengthening the lower back into a downward facing dog, or let's say Uttanasana, forward fold. Grab a blanket and put it on top of this seat. Put it on top of the back bar. And this is going to be to help cushion, because sometimes sensitivity on the upper thigh bones can hurt. But I'd like you to find where the hip bone, the outer points are. There's a little, I guess, the iliac points. And you want, and then just below that, maybe an inch or two is where you really hinge, okay? You can see it maybe a crease from that point. So in that crease is where we want to put the blanket. Have the chair, the front legs right on the edge of the mat. Draw the seat up and finding that where the hip crease hinges at, when we're bringing that bar and blanket right on that area. Reach forward with one hand and grab the mat upwards and squeeze the chair legs, both of them. And go ahead and lift the heels to find the sweet spot. It's hard to explain sometimes. And once you find that, go ahead and lengthen first. And bend the knees gently, slightly. Externally rotate the biceps forward. And let the neck be elongation of the spine. So your gaze might be in between the thumbs. Feel the collarbones open. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower down. Let the torso dangle. The neck soften. Keep the hands with a grip as you draw the elbows into the chair legs. Biceps forward. Inhale and exhale. This might feel really good. And we're all made different, and sometimes this could be very sensitive. I find ladies who've maybe had a C-section can have sensitivities doing this pose. But I think over time this becomes a little more accessible, especially if it's not feeling the best, right? Now lift the heels up and lift halfway. Now this time, lengthen a little bit longer. Hug the pit of the belly in, and then go ahead and lower back down, forward fold. So you can rest the forehead onto the back of the chair seat. Might feel good. Halfway lift. This time bring the, grab tight with the left hand and bring the right hand forward and up to the sacrum area. So what's great about this is it gives you a flat, square back because of the point of reference of the hips being square with the chair back. And then twist. Switch sides, right hand grabs both legs and then bring the left hand up to the sacrum. And release down. Bend your knees. Walk the hands up. And rise up. Let's do a counter stretch, upward facing dog. Rotate the arms, externally rotate, move them behind you, and bring the chair back maybe up to the legs. Now we bend the knees gently. And just feel the back ribs lengthen up. Heart begins to open. So we have a little upward facing dog standing. And notice if the hips want to go forward. That's where the measurement of the chair back lets you know in space where you are. Soften the front ribs down. Let the tailbone anchor straight down. So it doesn't have to look like it belongs on Instagram. Because in chair yoga, it's really about the sensation of it all. Okay. Leave the chair in the angle it was at. Bring the heels towards the wall. It doesn't have to be exactly on it. Okay. And depending upon your flexibility, you have a block handy or a blanket. And bring the forearms onto the chair seat. And then the head right onto the block. So 4 corners of the feet rooting down. See if the inner arches can lift up as the outer ankles hug in. So the inner thighs kind of internally rotate and your sits bones can walk up the wall. It gives you a little arch of the lower back. So if this is too much, you can bring the forehead down towards the chair. So really, the measurement, you're the captain of your boat, of your movement. And again, this could be held for 5 minutes. The longer you go into the pose, the greater the release of the fascia and the connective tissue. You know, moving into the subtle body and allowing the body to release. Bring the arms up to the hands onto the chair back. Let the elbows dangle so you get a little deeper shoulder stretch out of it. And again, see if the sits bones can glide up the wall a little higher, yet keeping the back knees a little fluidity in the joints. I hate to say bent or straight. But can you feel that fluidity from the inner seams of the arches of the feet going through the legs close to the bone, through the knee joints, into the inner thighs? And slowly rise yourself up. Tuck your feet inward. Good. Bend your knees and rise up. Good. Bring your seat up near the chair. Bring the calves and the lower legs onto the chair seat for constructive rest. Allow the keystone bone of the sacrum to balance from the hip bones on the floor. Let it totally dissolve. Release any grip in the glutes, the thighs. Feel the groin soften. Let your breath soften. Space, the navel center. Let that soften. Allow the breath to draw into that space. Gently bring the soles of the feet together. Maybe hook the feet around the chair sidebars. Let the knees open up wide. Pasutta Konasana version. Having the feet apart a little bit kind of makes it just a different sensation of the pose. Try to relax and let the legs dangle and release. So bring the arms to the outer thighs and draw the knees in together. Bring the left knee into the chest. Bring the right heel onto the chair seat. You want to elongate the leg. You can. I'll slide the chair over to the right. And if you have wall space, you take the left foot where it's on the wall. So when you have it bent until you lean back and slowly recline back. Good. So the right shin, right lower leg is on the chair, it's being supported. Neutral rotation. I'd like you to activate the left glutes. 3, 2, 1, and release the leg. Do that again. Engage the left leg. Feel the heel press into the wall. The glutes active. 5, 2, 1, and release. Inhale, activate the left leg. 3, 2, 1, and then totally surrender, release. You don't have to have the foot on the wall necessarily. Let it just relax. Release any tension. Now, really press the right knee into your chest. Left foot can go into the ground. And then we're going to adjust the chair over to your left side. The spot where the calf, lower half of the leg is on the chair seat, and then the right leg extends onto the wall. And activate the right leg, the right glutes. 2, 1, and release. Inhale, activate again, whole right leg. 3, 2, 1, and release. And finally, activate the right glutes, right leg. 3, 2, 1, and release. Bring your hands by your sides, palms facing the sky, shoulder heads back. Feel the, maybe readjust the shoulder blades themselves to be closer to the earth, more of the surface of the blades. And then draw the left knee into the chest. Step the right foot to the ground. And bring both knees into the chest. And then roll over to one side. And then take your time, rising up. Your hands to heart center, cleansing breath, inhale. And then exhale. Honor this time that we spend together, whether it's virtual, online, or together with breath, with peace. The light in me honors and sees the beauty, the divine light within you. Namaste.